Today we're going to play Stump the Lawyer. Let's see if you can do it. Hi, my name is Jim Hart. I'm the founding attorney here at Hawthorn Law, where we help online businesses get their legal house in order so that you can focus on what you do best, and that is building a business that truly matters. I get thousands of comments on my videos, and today I thought I would go through a random sampling of them that have been posted in the past several days and see if you can stump me. So this is going to be, I got I don't know how many. I got a lot of questions here, but we're going to just jump right into it here. So the first one is from Sihone, who says, "Hey, hope you're still around." I am, and could help me with this question. Doing an online business and you're the only employee and don't want to start as an LLC, but as a sole proprietorship. Sounds good. Do I choose foreign or domestic since I want to ship international, but the business would remain in one location? All right. So this is a good question, and I think what Sahone is really getting at here is, do they want to form a foreign corporation or a domestic corporation? Honestly, that has nothing to do with whether or not you are shipping goods internationally. What that has to do with is whether or not you are operating in the state where the LLC is formed. So if you form an LLC in North Carolina and you live in North Carolina, then it's a domestic LLC. If you form an LLC in If you form an LLC in Wyoming, but you live in North Carolina, then you have to register it in North Carolina as a foreign LLC. That's what that's getting at. So I don't think this is something you need to worry about, but check with a lawyer just to make sure. Kim Rashan says, "Hi, I'm in the process of filling out articles of organization for my future LLC." That's typically correct, because if you haven't filed them yet, it is a future LLC. "I have a virtual address for my business and no office in my home. What is considered the principal office address in my situation, or do I not have one? Would I simply check box B that says I don't have one? Thanks for your time." Well, I don't know what checkbox B is because you didn't tell me what state you're in. However, you certainly can use a virtual address as the address for your business. That's not a problem. We do that with people all the time. That is A-okay. Millie says, "Hey Jim, I have a very important question." Let's pay attention to this one, it sounds serious. "I filled out my LLC twice and it keeps getting denied. The second name I chose is not taken and is different from the names that are listed. My question to you is, do I need an LLC or can I just start my business without ever getting one?" Well, let's start with the beginning point. You filled out your articles of organization paperwork and it keeps getting denied. I'll be honest, I've done hundreds of these things, if not more. I've never had one get denied. So there's probably something else going on with your articles of organization that you're messing up, and without reviewing them, I really couldn't tell you what that is. That's probably why your LLC is getting denied. Do you need an LLC? I've done videos about this, and typically what I tell people is I don't recommend getting an LLC until you're at least generating enough revenue to cover the cost of the LLC. Anything before that, now there are exceptions, but anything before that, and it's really just not necessary. Now if you're investing a lot of money into the LLC up front, or into the business up front, then you may want to definitely start an LLC sooner rather than later. There are reasons to start an LLC earlier, even if you're not generating revenue. I can't talk today. Even if you're not generating revenue. Where was I? So there are many reasons why you may want to hold off on forming an LLC, but there's also a lot of good reasons why you should form your LLC sooner. So there you go. All right, Jason says, "Editing tip, show us, don't tell us. A little bit too much straight dialogue. Mix in scenes of you doing the things you're talking about. This is a different type of video than you usually do. It's not instructional. It's demonstrating teaching and experience." Thanks, Jason. Not really a question there, but appreciate the feedback. Anastasia says, "Question. Let's say I form my LLC in the state that I live in, but move a year later to another or to a new state. Does this mean I have to form a new LLC with the new state that I moved to?" So yeah, that's a great question, Anastasia. And typically what happens is if you move from the state you're in with your business to another state, then typically what you would do is you would transfer all the assets. You'd form a new LLC in the new state. You'd transfer all the assets from the old state into the new state, and then you would go ahead and dissolve the old LLC. That's typically what you're gonna do. All right, Bad Becky says, "Really needed this. I'm glad. I'm starting a business, but I'm not ready to do the LLC or business bank account. Is it wise to still separate personal income expenses and my business income expenses until I'm able to get an LLC and a business bank account?" Bad Becky, I tell you what, number one, I like your username. Number two, yes, that is excellent. That is an excellent thing to do. Even if you're starting out as a sole proprietor, you want to make sure you set up a separate business bank account and get even a separate EIN number for the sole proprietorship so that you can segregate your personal and business accounts. I think that's a great idea. Definitely go for it until you're ready to start an LLC. Cody, cannot pay attention to anything but that one strand of hair. Huh. A makeup artist must have been taking the day off that day. Hopefully we did better today, Cody. Thanks for the input. SHBT says, so paying yourself, can you use that as a tax write-off for your business? It depends. That's a really great question. It depends on if you're a sole proprietorship or an LLC that's being taxed as a disregarded entity, or if you are being, or if you formed an S corporation or a regular corporation for that matter. In those instances, if you're an S corporation or you filed a normal corporation, yes, you can pay yourself a salary and write that off. If you are an LLC or a sole proprietorship, and I should say an LLC taxed as a sole proprietorship, then basically you do not expense the amount of money you pay yourself. You just collect the income, which is the difference between the amount of money you bring in and your expenses, and that flows through to your personal tax return, and then you get taxed on that money. You're paying yourself, but not really, but it comes out in the wash. Hope that makes sense. Ty, I hope I'm saying that right. Ty says, do I need to do it in the state that I live, California, even if it's a virtual business, or I go for Wyoming? You know, I don't know why you go for Wyoming, but especially if you're in California, no, you want to make sure, and especially in California. Now, I'm no California lawyer, so you can check with a local lawyer in California about this, but I believe if California finds out that you formed an LLC in Wyoming and you live and you work in California, I think there's a huge financial penalty that they will charge to you for doing that. So you want to be careful about that. My recommendation is always to form an LLC in the state that you live in and not in some other state just because you've heard that that's a great place to form LLCs. So there you go. Nathan, good content. Thank you. Thank you, Nathan. I always appreciate it when people give thanks where thanks is due. Do you have to be the sole original manufacturer of a product to register a trademark for this product? Can you register a generic product and register it and sell it on a virtual platform such as Amazon? Great question there, Nathan. Now, what you need to understand is what I think you're talking about here is white labeling products. And basically what that means is you're purchasing products wholesale, you're slapping your brand label on it and you're selling it somewhere else, either on Shopify or Amazon or something like that, on your own website. Can you trademark that brand name? And the answer is yes, you can trademark that brand name. What you cannot do is try to trademark the name of the product you're purchasing and then selling back on Amazon, because that's somebody else's intellectual property. But if you are buying it as white label under a white label agreement with the manufacturer of the product, and then you're slapping all your branding on that product and then reselling it, yes, you absolutely can go ahead and trademark that name. So hopefully that helps you. Hopefully you found those questions helpful. If you've got questions and you like this and you'd like me to do this again, leave a comment below and let me know. Otherwise, I got another video right here that's going to answer more of these similar type of questions for you, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.